Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KC CHIROPulse podcast brought to you by CATS Consultants, helping doctors keep their pulse on success. I'm Dr. Michael Perusich, and I'm joined today with my good friend, Dr. Troy Fox. Dr. Fox, how are you today? What's going
I'm
on?
doing great. I'm sitting here in the alternate office, which is actually my wife's office today.
I wondered if that was your purse.
Yeah, it's my purse hanging up on the wall. You know, I do lose my keys, my wallet, my sunglasses. It would probably be an effective thing if I did carry a purse, but I don't know if that's a societal norm. Maybe it's becoming more norm.
It's called
I
a
don't
man
know.
bag.
The man bag.
Man
Maybe I
bag.
should get a man bun to go with that. Oh yeah, I don't have any hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in the alternate office.
Awesome.
This is my wife's beautiful, clean office that I'm sitting in.
I was going to say, that's awful nice for you.
Yeah. There's no debris in here. There's no pins laying around. I mean,
love it.
Everything's organized in its place. I mean, it's a little foreign to me, actually.
Well, in the midst of all that cleanliness, did we get any? I know we get a ton of them, but what's our question this week? What are we talking about?
So this one is a Facebook question, and
okay.
This was a question that I thought was fairly interesting because it was a not really a hey, how do I practice question, and I thought, man, let's talk about this. Here's the question. So Barry, I think Barry was it Minnesota or Wisconsin? It was in Wisconsin, I believe. Barry in Wisconsin. Thanks for your question. I should have wrote it down. Sorry. If you're in Minnesota, I'm sorry, because I'm sure there's some sort of rivalry between Minnesota and Wisconsin. So I think you're a Badger or something like that. So anyway, there we go. So Barry asked the question, with the change, and I've seen this in my software as well. So I thought this is why this is such an interesting question. Barry says, so with the changes in software that we're seeing and the changes in the way that chiropractic patients are scheduling their patients, what are the pros and the cons of the new software systems that we're seeing now that allow patients to schedule their own appointments?
Oh yeah, using current technology. I love that.
Yeah, because we're scheduling on our phones and using QR codes and all kinds. Speaking of QR codes, my phone's buzzing at me now, so we're going to shut that off.
Yeah, that's a great thing to be doing. You know, so many systems today allow patients to have a portal to your scheduling system. And as long as it's set up right and you know how to manage it, I think it's a great thing. What a modern day convenience. And, you know, things like that, as they become more commonplace and patients use them more and more. And of course, it's not just chiropractic clinics that they're using that with. They're doing it with their dentists. And my dentist, you get right online. You schedule your appointment right there through their app. It's pretty awesome, really. And so, you know, if you run into something, you can reschedule.
Yeah. And I think that's the fear that some doctors have right now, you know, and you can turn that function on and off with the software. But I think that's a fear that some doctors have, is if I let my patients have complete control of the schedule, you know, if you let the fox in the hen house kind of thing, that they're going to do weird things to my schedule. They're going to decide on their own to just go off the schedule. I can tell you from my experience with using this that I have it complete. I have no governor on this thing at all. I have it set up wide open to where a patient can jump onto my scheduling app. They can schedule an appointment. They can move an appointment. They can cancel an appointment. And I will tell you what I've seen up to this point. Now, it may change. The trend may change over time. What I've seen up to this point is that my openness with my patients, allowing them to schedule instead of them just quitting care, going, well, I can't really make that appointment. And I think I'm feeling pretty good, so I'm just not going to schedule another appointment. What I see, because they get alerts 24 hours before, 2 hours before. So about 24 hours before their appointment, what I've seen in a couple of instances, the patient pushes the appointment back a week. And they were supposed to be, say, 2 weeks for their next appointment.
So
and
they
then at the end of that
schedule
third week, they pushed it back again to 4 weeks. And at that point, when I saw that booking, so it sends me a booking notification online or on through email. So I look at it and I go, oh, Susie Q rescheduled again. And didn't they reschedule last week? Yeah, they were supposed to be 2 weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it. So then when they come in and they're an absolute train wreck, because then that's what happens.
Sure.
I've never had anybody reschedule more than twice. Usually after 2 rebookings or 2 reschedules, I'll see them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go, I'm a disaster. And I go, you're a disaster. And I'm like, well, why didn't you come in on your first? Well, I had this going and that going. Now, the moral of this story is, here's what I saw with it. What I saw is life happens. It's not every patient all the time, but life happens. And you know what? When I give patients the authority to change that appointment, I mean, it may not always be the optimum situation, but you know what? When you're scheduling and your staff is pushing on a patient, hey, you need to be here in 2 weeks. You need to be here in 2 weeks. And what you don't realize is that that person's wife is on hospice care right now. They haven't told anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They're being really quiet about what's going on with them personally, but they need your care. And you keep pushing and pushing. What's that patient going to do? They're going to drop from care.
Sure.
And they're not going to give you a reason why. So I think there's a real pro. It's not all con. I think there's a real pro to letting your patients control. And here's my analogy. Have you ever been to one of those websites where you signed up for it and it looked really cool when you signed up for it? And then you, for the life of you, couldn't figure out how to unsubscribe to that website. It was hidden so deep in the annals of the tree of that web that you literally had to spend an hour trying to figure out how to unsubscribe, and you had to YouTube it or Google it and walk through 18 steps. And finally you went, oh my gosh, I'm free from this website. Have you ever done that?
Oh yeah.
How bad did that irritate you? Would you ever sign up on that website again? No. If it's easy to get off of it, they're afraid that you're going to get off of it too easily. And so they try to eke that extra month or 2 months or 3 months out of you because you don't respond to it.
Right.
Because you don't know the answer of how to get there. So my thing is, I think there's some real pros. Do you see, I mean, obviously there's some do you see any downsides that I'm not thinking of to that scheduling?
Not really. And this is a topic that would be great to banter with Marissa, on here too. But, there's always, I mean, there's not a day that goes by that you don't have at least one patient reschedule. I mean, and I'm going to use your term, life happens, and we have to be flexible with our patients, of course, but let's think about another pro of letting patients have the control of the schedule instead of having to call us. And I just let the cat out of the bag. When they have to pick up the phone and call you, what does it do? Well, your staff has to pick up the phone, or if it goes to voicemail, they got to pick up the phone and call them back. But it takes staff time. Why not let the patient be your staff member, and that 1 or 2 or 3 minutes that it takes to pick up the phone, answer it, reschedule the appointment or cancel the appointment for the patient, talk to him for a couple of seconds. I mean, that's costing you money in staff salary and staff time. So the pro of those kind of systems where patients have the access to their schedule and they can move appointments around as they need to actually saves you money. So are you going to have some habitual problem people? Yeah, but you do anyway. You know, you've always got that guy who, you know, he's scheduled every 2 weeks, and, you know, every 2 weeks he calls, you know, after the appointment was 10 minutes ago and says, oh, I can't make it today. Yeah. We always have those people. So let them manage the schedule on their own. Cause I think it does. I think it saves you time and money in the long run.
You made me think of something. Another pro to this is as well. So what do you always tell me when people watch videos? If I do a Facebook Live, what is the bonus? What's the bonus of boosting that Facebook Live? Because it captions it, right? Right. Because they're sitting at work silently watching Facebook Live videos, right? Or whatever videos. But if it captions it, they can read the captions on the bottom and see what I'm saying that day. Yep. You know what else? Instead of picking up the phone in the middle of work when they're not supposed to be on their phone anyway, right?
They can do it right online.
They can now schedule their appointment online. Yep. Not that I'm encouraging you to grab your phone when you shouldn't at work. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is If they're anything like me, I really don't like to call people. I like the direct access to scheduling. I like the direct access to services. So when I buy something, I ordered tires for my car the other day, and this is a simple one. I ordered tires for my car. I wanted to get on there, pick the Michelin Pilot PS2 tires that I wanted, and I wanted off of there. But because it's a high performance tire, what did they make me do? Call for pricing. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So guess what I did? I didn't order from that website.
Found another website.
I found another website that had the price on it, and I didn't care whether it was $10 more, $20 more a tire. I didn't have to call them to get a price, and I went ahead and scheduled it right there. So I think the ease of scheduling through the app, and I will tell you that I've had, because I'm full blown 100% scan my QR code, get on my website, which takes you directly to my scheduler. I'm full blown. You can do all your own scheduling by yourself. Now, for those of you that asked the question, and we're going to wrap up with this, or those of you that asked the question, when we're doing scheduling, can I still, if I have all that flexibility, can I still do like advanced multiple scheduling where I put let's say I have a treatment schedule 3 times a week over 4 weeks. Can I put all that in there? Yes, you can actually put that. You can jump on your little computer and go boom, 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 and schedule the patient for those appointments really easily. So you have the best of both worlds when your patient has that opportunity. Plus, it also texts you 2 hours before the appointment.
Well, and here's one more thing it does. Yeah, here's one more thing it does. It makes you look like you're keeping pace with today's technology.
Oh, yeah.
And that makes you look incredibly professional. You're current, you're relevant. And, keeping up with technology, not just, portal scheduling like we're talking about, but there's all kinds of new technology out there. So keep pace with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, without letting the cat out of the bag about, some of the softwares that we've talked about, because we've talked about really features of several this morning, but I can tell you that if you're not doing this at this point and you're like, man, I really want to get into this, I know that if you are a cash practitioner, you can get into this for about $130 a month, and you have scheduling, you have billing, and you have all the fine features that go with that. That's the full package, nothing throttled back. If you're an insurance client, I know the bare minimum that you're probably going to pay per month is about $175 to get on a software package like this that does this type of thing. So as you're hunting around, just keep those numbers in mind, that it's actually so much cheaper with some of these startup boutique groups that are working now in comparison to some of the established giants that we have in the industry. There's a lot to choose from, and there's a lot of menu items, a lot of a la carte items you can choose from at this point.
Yeah. And two, even if you're not looking for a new system, call your software vendor and see if they're working on any kind of scheduling portal that patients can jump into. I know a lot of them are. Yeah. So, that may be an option down the road if you don't have it right now as well. So this is a great topic.
It doesn't need to be in the form of an app either. When I first looked at this, I was like, I want an app for my patients. You don't need an app for your patients. And we can talk about that at a later time, the nuts and bolts of how it works, but I don't need it. I don't need that. What I need is the ability for them to get to a portal and an easy way for them to get there. And I found a way that they could do it at the snap of their fingers, which works really well. That way they don't need an app on their phone. They really don't need it. So,
right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, Barry from Wisconsin Soda. Wisconsin Soda. We appreciate dropping the question on Facebook. And Troy, if people have thoughts, questions, they want to hear us banter around, where do they get a hold of you?
It's so complex. Troy at catsconsultants.com. And obviously you should know by now, maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's Cats with a K. So Troy at catsconsultants.com. So now I'm going to throw this back the other way. So if you've listened to us today and you go, you know what, these guys maybe kind of know a little bit about what they're talking about, about coaching, about, being an advisor, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it advisement coaching, what we like to call it advisement. But if somebody actually wants to go a little bit deeper and maybe have you look at their stats or me look at their stats, How do they do that, Dr. Peruich?
Super simple. catsconsultants.com. Go to the website, front page. At the top right corner, you will see a schedule now tab. Click on that. You'll go right to our calendars. Pick a time, pick a day. We do those calls for free. We enjoy talking to doctors around the country, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't get the opportunity to talk to a few of you out there, and so do you, Troy, and so does Marissa. So jump on our calendar, schedule a free breakthrough session. Let's talk about your practice, what your needs are, and whether or not we can help you. So we'll be super forthright and honest with you. All right, Troy. Appreciate the question today. We're going to check out here. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, to KC CHIROPulse podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants, helping you keep your pulse on success. Be sure to check us out at catsconsultants.com. And from all of us here at CATS Consultants, stay informed and well adjusted. We'll see you next time.
See ya.